Sabalos and Devin Harris, and that's the first three-game losing streak for the Mavs since March of 2019. These are tough times. This is a tough schedule right now, and said they're struggling to fight through it right now.
Well, we're in the arena right now, and the ice is down for the Dallas Stars. It's freezing in here, and it's a little cold in Florida right now because the Mavericks shooting is not really there, and that's what's been difficult. When their offense is going, Devin, that's what sparks their defense. Now, that's a bad sign, especially to go on into playoffs and try to win games. You got to have that offense to spark that defense. I don't think Coach Carlisle wanted to see that, and he only saw a little bit of it because he got ejected.
Yeah, they're not in sync right now. They're missing guys. They haven't been at full strength all year long. It's a tough stretch for them right now. Luka had a very subpar, performance tonight. Tim Hardaway Jr., couldn't hit the side of a barn tonight. But you just got to give the Raptors credit. They were scrappy. They kind of beat Luka up. They were physical, and they shot the ball extremely well in the second half.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah, Devin, this was a tie game at halftime, and then the threes did start falling for Toronto. What do you think was really the biggest difference, the main problem in that second half as it got away from Dallas?
I mean, they're still an NBA team. They're not going to miss threes forever. They shoot them at a high clip, so at some point they're going to fall. They got better rhythm shots, but defensively, I thought they looked like the Toronto Bolt.
Now, we weren't sure if Rick Carlisle stayed in the locker room and gave the halftime speech or not, but not taken away from the assistant coaches, but that might have been a difference, too. You got a head coach putting together a strategy against the team for the second half and not having your confidence leader and your coach going on. Not really sure about that, but we're going to think that and try to put ourselves in the position of a team that's, your coach has been thrown out. Obviously, we've been playing with teams where their coach has been thrown out, and we get that as a motivational, especially if it's very aggressive because he's battling for us.
Yeah, and you think that, like, motivational-wise, you try to get your guys going, a little bit sluggish on the second game of back-to-back, but, just not enough firepower tonight.
They are definitely missing so many players at this point. They've been depleted for the better part of 10-plus days, and it's impossible, Devin. We want them to be able to find a rhythm, find an identity, but that's an awful lot to ask when one day you lose 5 guys, one you've got 6 out, 11 available, one back, another out. It's really difficult to find any rhythm with that.
It is. Mama said it would be days like this, and they're definitely they're going through it, but they're trying to fight, and you got to give them credit. But like I said, there's not enough firepower tonight and just not enough shot making.
Depleted, that's right. But I tell you, it is a good thing. Kristaps Porzingis played very, very well. I thought the opportunity for him to have more minutes, have more freedom, be relaxed a little bit more. He's got his shot going a little bit. He had bad legs last game. I thought that was going to come over in this situation because it was a back-to-back, but it didn't. He really got aggressive here with the tip dunk, really moving the basketball, setting his feet, not falling back like I talked about before in the pregame, and then the length right there, bothering any and everybody who wanted to defend him. He's so great at cutting, even though he's a 7-footer, gets easy dunks.
Yeah, that was a really good thing to see in the second half. His cuts to the basket, looked like he had good legs underneath him. He was very definitive in his moves in the post, got to the foul line, and looked like the Kristaps Bolt.
Not to mention on the boards, too, some of those tip-out rebounds were great. Running the floor, there was so much to like for KP in any game, but especially because this was the second night of a back-to-back for him. He played back-to-back so rarely last season that this was obviously really an encouraging sign and may have been exactly what he needed as he's trying to knock off the rust.
One of the top players, I was going to say, Devin, in this league when he's healthy and get him going. Obviously, he's under 20 points now, but obviously he's moving his way up to get in there. And then you're going to look at his defensive side. What he does for the Mavericks, he changes shots, he alters, he put them in bad position, good positions when he blocking shots and pushing the ball up the floor. And then to be able to step back or either catch off a pick and roll and knock down long-distance threes, he's going to be a threat for any team that's tried to match up with him.
Yeah, sometimes these are confidence booster games. Even though they didn't win tonight, this is something he can base on, really look forward to something to move past some of the injuries and just really focus on his game. And I thought tonight he did a great job of just doing everything out there for the Mavs.
It's got to be tough, too, because as they're working KP back in, so not only are you dealing with the loss of so many key players, but finally you get him back in, and that's a massive guy that you're inserting back in to your team. I wondered tonight a little bit, watching Tim Hardaway Jr. struggle, and just the fact that everybody's got to find their shots and their rhythm. It was going to take a minute when KP came back anyway, right?
Yeah, anytime you're trying to incorporate a guy like that magnitude into your offense, everybody's going to get a little bit different shots. Tim Hardaway Jr., he's coming off the bench. He's not coming off the bench. He's kind of in a whirlwind right now. He's injured, probably not at 100%. Just a tough game. You got to flush it and just, move on to the next one.
Well, I heard Derek Harper talk about his groin injury, and we read scouting reports. If somebody is injured, we attack that. Now, I'm not saying people going swiping by, but that is mental for him, so we don't want that to happen. This is a situation where, he was going on a rise. I mean, he was really playing great basketball. Tim Hardaway Jr. moving without the basketball, shooting, penetrating, putting himself in position. And when you get hurt, it may be deflating. It may be mental. Who knows? It's only one game, but we'll see the next one.
We are waiting to hear from Rick Carlisle and waiting to find out if we're going to hear from Rick Carlisle, who was ejected early in this game. And that was interesting, too, just to see how quickly he got really frustrated and angry. Don't know exactly what it was over. And hopefully we're going to find out from him in just a little bit. Sometimes that can energize your team. Unfortunately, didn't get them over the hump here tonight. All right, it is time to see what Rick has to say. Here's the Mavs head coach.
I don't know if anybody's going to ask. I obviously had a disagreement with the referee, and I got tossed. So, and so that's how that went. I thought Jamal took over. They did a great job in the second quarter. Got it to a tie game at halftime, and in the second half, we just didn't have the juice. Making wasn't there. The defense wasn't there. The junk defenses were a problem, and so it just wasn't our night.
Allie.
Hey Rick, now that Jalen's back, what light can